Hi, this is Sherry Andrea. Thank you for joining me today. I know it's a little awkward. You don't see my mic when I do recordings, but I've been having a little bit of problem with the audio, not the quality, but the volume. So I wanted to make sure that the audio volume comes out well enough. Okay, so today is Monday, July 1st. I hope you had a great weekend. I had to say that because I'm still like, I'm really shocked that it's July already. It's just like this year is flying by. Okay, so anyway, I just thought I would hop on here. I know I look atrocious. I was at my parents' house today, and I helped out with cutting the grass, and it was really really hot outside, so I probably look like something the cat dragged in. But I wanted to do a quick video because I told you I was going to do more, so I'm trying to keep my promise. So today's video is about energy work. So this isn't just for energy workers or healers. This is for anyone who is interested in learning energy work, using their energy work in various ways, and not just when it comes to giving healing to people. What I'm talking about today is about energy work as far as it's related to the weather. So this is going to be a short video, but I think you'll find it interesting. And at the least, it'll give you some food for thought. Maybe you'll get some of your own ideas from this. First of all, if you're looking for me, you can find me at sherryspeaks.com. You can there's 80 plus attunement courses there. Also a certificate creator where it'll create the certificate for you after you put your details in. They're really beautiful. In color, and it'll show you the proof before you pay for it. And they're only $1.75 each. So for those of you who may need certificates for your students, this is a great way to quickly be able to create their certificates, and they're in PDF format to quickly create them and email them to them. Okay. And then of course the other, you could find links, all the information about the services I provide, such as psychic readings, which is now called channeled insights. So if you're looking for psychic readings, coachings, that is channeled insights. And I also provide energy work such as chakra clearing and balancing, as well as in depth individual clearings. Okay, so let's get right to it. First of all, one of the reasons why I wanted to do this video, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Okay. The reason why I wanted to do this video is because often I talk to people about using energy work, and I talk to them about being healers as far as it relates to people and helping people, or maybe even animals. But I don't often talk to people about using it for other reasons, like the weather. I have told this story a couple of times where I had a stackable washer and dryer, and the dryer started to squeak really bad. And I'm thinking, oh no, it's on its last leg probably, because I used the heck out of it when Tyler was little. I was forever washing clothes. And I'm thinking, it's on probably on its last leg, and right now I can't afford to replace a stackable washer and dryer. They're very expensive. So I used to. This was back when I was first kind of getting into Reiki. I wouldn't say I was totally new to it at the time, but I'd only been, into Reiki for a couple years. And I used to Reiki the stackable washer and dryer, and sure enough, I would send Reiki to it. The squeaking would stop. And let me tell you, I do absolutely believe I extended the life of my stackable washer and dryer until I could afford, the solution, which ended up being individual washer and dryers. But yeah, so think I've heard of people using Reiki also, to send Reiki to their car. Their car is kind of acting up. It's kind of I've heard of people also, um, like using Reiki when it comes to sending Reiki to plants that they have. Plants, trees, their lawn. I used to Reiki my lawn. I've had a love hate relationship with my lawn for a long time because I have, um, the soil is not that great of quality, and there's so many trees in. I live on a cul-de-sac, and our cul-de-sac happens to have a lot of huge oak trees. And because of the overabundance of oak trees the developer originally planted, the grounds are just nothing but roots, and it takes basically all the nutrients out of the soil. So it's really hard to, you like every time, like if I want to plant some fruits and vegetables, what I have to go through with my soil, like literally I have to go and I have to buy a bag of organic cow manure. I've got to mix that into the soil. I always have to use, I use natural fertilizer, usually coffee grounds, but you can only do that so much, and it's a real chore. So I would, send energy healing to the soil, the grass, plants I'm growing. And yes, I do notice a difference. I do absolutely. But let's talk about the weather. Now, it's okay if you don't agree with everything I'm going to say. It's okay. Of course, I believe, have your own opinion, have your own beliefs. Let's just call this food for thought, what I'm suggesting to you, but you don't have to believe what I'm saying. Okay, raise your hand if you think the government messes with the weather. Just raise your hand. Okay, well, we've kind of got proof of that. The reason why I say that is because actually there are a couple of companies out there that have been advertising their services, like to different countries. Like, say there's a country that's having a problem with drought. They've actually openly advertised to, and said to that country, for this many millions of dollars, we have the ability to affect the weather, and we can take your problem away. Whether it's that it's a drought condition, look, they even offered their services. I want to say, I believe, to the United States when we had some hurricanes on the way that looked like they were going to be like really bad, like they were at like high categories, like category 4 or 5. So that alone is proof that the weather can be affected. The weather can be affected. It's not by machinery. I wouldn't say it's by machinery, and I actually do know how it's done. We won't get into that right now. I mean, if anybody's interested, I would suggest that you follow, this gentleman called, he's got a YouTube channel, Mike Morales, and he talks about this a lot. He shows it to you, what's going on, not only in pictures of it actually happening, them doing it, but also how he can show it to you on a weather map, an adjusted weather map. Okay, so first of all, that's my little what I have to say for those of you who are like, I don't believe in that conspiracy theory of the government's affecting the weather. So I've let you know, how I would say we have the proof that this is true. Okay. So now, but what about when the weather is affected like that? Well, normally the way I've always thought of it for years is that, like people say fake news. I've always thought of it as like fake weather, like this weather isn't real. It's like kind of manufactured. It's like, okay, this is probably a really poor example, but I'm going to use it anyway. Let's say I got my grill out and I got some wood chips, those smoking wood chips. Now, if you've ever grilled and used the wood chips that smoke, you'll know it creates a lot of smoke. Like I did this on tried to do this on my back porch one time, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, there's so much smoke." But what if I did that and I had it outside and it created so much smoke that it went up into the atmosphere and created clouds? Okay, what if now this is, like I said, this is a bad example, but I think you'll be able to follow me with this. What if I was able to create so much clouds in the sky, such as when we have fireworks displays? It's not unusual for it to rain either later that evening or the next day. Why? There's so much smoke going up into the atmosphere, and it is basically creating what I would like kind of call a fake cloud. But it's not really a fake cloud. I mean, it's like it it can in the end potentially do the same thing that like real clouds do. So it can end up then creating rain. It can then end up turning into a weather system, I guess is what I'm saying is the right way for me to say it. But still, I kind of look at it as this is like, I used to call it years ago, I would call it a fake storm. And sometimes we'd have really, really, really bad thunderstorms here. And just with my abilities and my intuition, I could always feel when something wasn't quite right with with a storm system. And what I would do is I would do energy work aimed at taking the negative energy out of that storm system, and in fact, the storm would tame down. I've I have done energy work on storms, hurricanes many times in the past. No, I haven't talked about it because I do believe this is something you want to be careful about talking openly about, because let's just say, if we kind of put our conspiracy theory hats on, maybe the government wouldn't like the idea of there being people that can affect something like this, that can do something like this. Maybe they are affecting the weather. Maybe they are trying to create really bad floods in certain parts of the country, which is kind of what's going on right now. In certain states, there is really bad flooding going on, and you will notice the media isn't discussing it. You're not hearing this on the news every night. There are some states that have such bad flooding that it's been going on for weeks now, where the floodwaters are so high it's still up to the rooftops, and it is in a lot of areas where there's a lot of farmland. And like Mike Morales on his show, he was saying, and he's been saying it for days, he's like, where are all these people that supposedly were flooded out? Where are the farmers? Where are all their animals? It's like, what happened to them? Where are they? Nobody's talking about it. He had some footage where you could see where they had torn a roof off, a big chunk of the roof off of a house to rescue people who were trapped in it. Where are these people? Now, of course, feel free to comment if you have anyone in these areas and you know for a fact, oh, well, they're in shelters, they're fine, there's nothing funky going on here. Feel free to comment. But there are many people that have been making videos questioning, like, what is going on? And where are these people at? And why isn't the news reporting it? This is huge news. Why isn't it being reported? Okay, because I say this, think about it. When we hear about these things going on the news, this is what gets us taking action and saying, oh, I want to help those people. I want to go and I want to buy canned goods. I want to send it send it there, or I want to donate money to the Red Cross. But how are people going to help the people who are suffering from this if it's not even being reported, if nobody even knows it's going on? Okay, so I know I got a little sidetracked. Sorry about that. But okay, so things that are going on like this, when you're an energy worker, you can affect a great amount of change, especially if more than just one of us is doing it. So I often send energy to storms. I send energy towards situations because if you think about it, it's like energy work slash manifestation. So while I'm doing my energy work, I also may be doing a visual of the floodwaters receding quickly. This is a good visual to use. Or if you know that certain areas are still having like really bad storms, you can do a visual that is like an example of what you might come up with to take negative energy out of a storm system. So maybe you could visualize the storm system being like very dark and very gray, and visualize like basically sending energy and that energy converting into something lighter, or you could see it converting into normal looking clouds, a normal looking sky. So I just want to say there's a lot going on in the world, and yeah, we could be using our skills as energy workers to help in many of the situations. I just saw on the news a city in Mexico had I think I'm right. I could be wrong. I don't know. I think it's 5 feet. I don't think it's 5 inches. I think it's five because I saw the pictures. 5 feet of hail, and I saw the pictures. This was like chest deep on some people. Cars were surrounded just deep in hell. And you could see people in the picture that were dressed normally. They had on short sleeve shirts, so that gives you the indication, okay, this isn't from another time. This is from now. When the weather is warm, very warm, probably like here in Florida, and there's all this hail. So you might want to go online and like look it up, because I know it's like hard to believe. But look it up and look for the pictures, because it's just amazing. And yeah, it would have you thinking, what the heck, what is going on? But it's not so strange and unusual, because with companies that are basically creating weather systems by basically putting clouds in the sky. This is sometimes done by, I'm trying to remember the terminology that's used, but if you watch Mike Morales' show, you'll hear all the right terminology. I don't want to get it wrong. But it's basically, in a nutshell, ships in oceans and seas, large ships that are shooting up into the air what looks like smoke, white, thick smoke. And it goes up, and it basically creates the same kind of thing as a look of chemtrails. It kind of creates that same look if you see it on a weather map. So you'll have these lines from where the ship was moving along as it was shooting up into the air, this really thick white smoke. Okay, so that's the basics of how they're doing it, how they're creating storm systems. Now, of course, these companies that are advertising their services for millions, sometimes billions of dollars, how they're taking the energy out of a storm like a hurricane, now that I don't know. I don't know what how they're exactly doing it, and what they're using, and what technology they're using. But we really, there's so much going on in the world. Those of us that could help and could do something, all I'm suggesting is maybe spending 5-10 minutes, here and there, when you have the time, to do a little bit of energy work to help, because some of these weather systems that are being created are really causing some severe damage. And some of you might even mention, like, the fire that was in, what was it called? Was it called Paradise in California? That was so bad that burned out that whole town, killed a lot of people. Some of you might also think of that and think, well, it's been questioned or suggested, was that purposeful? So we're talking about, let's help for something that's being done purposeful, but that is hurting so many people. And it's hurting really in the end all of us, because if you think about it, with so many farmers being affected, what is that going to do? It's going to even further raise our price of food. We've already got people that are struggling and almost can't afford to feed themselves and their families. Me and my friends, we talk about this all the time, that the reason why people are eating so poorly and choosing bad choices when it comes to eating is because right now it's cheaper to eat at fast food than it is to try to eat healthy from a grocery store. I mean, thank goodness for grocery stores like Aldi's and grocery stores that have good sales and everything. But really, it's getting harder and harder for people to just eat decently. Nothing fancy. I'm not talking steak and lobster. I'm just talking to just eat decently, where no one in a household has to go hungry to sacrifice to feed their children. Parents shouldn't have to go hungry because they want their kids to eat. This shouldn't be happening in the United States. So anyway, I just wanted to put that thought out there to you about using energy work for things other than healing people and animals. Of course, you should still keep doing that. But I just wanted to put it out there to you to remember, there are other ways you can use energy work. There is so much you can do. There is so much help that you can give. So if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments. If you have any suggestions or ideas, feel free to put those in the comments. Please keep your comments positive. Just to let you know, I do delete, if it's really negative and heinous comments, I delete those, because I don't want other people that are coming along and reading to be affected by that negative energy. But if you can, you know what I mean? I have no problem with you disagreeing with what I say. I'm just saying, we don't have to be hateful to do that. I have no problem with people disagreeing with me or having an opposing opinion or something, or a different suggestion. I have no problem with that. So I thank you for listening. Now remember, please do me a favor, subscribe, like, share. And if you're looking to donate, you can do that at sherryspeaks.com. Click donate on the navigation menu, or my PayPal link is paypal.me/SherryAndrea. Thank you, and have a great rest of your day. Bye.